Okay, let's do number 15. Number 15. Guys, hush. Okay, number 15. Now, David, what's my first step? Good, yes. Go ahead and distribute that out. So negative 5 times x is giving me negative 5x. Negative 5 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 15. Good job. Andrew, what do I do next? You can do two different things. How can we get y by itself? If it's y plus 5, how do we get the 5 over to the other side? Well, not multiply, but if we have plus 5 over here, we need to get it over here. We need to minus 5 from both sides. Okay? So minus 5 from both sides, that's going to leave me with a negative 5x plus 10. Awesome. What do I do next? If we have to get x and y on the same side, okay? If we have to get x and y on the same side, if this is a negative 5x, how do I get it? What's the opposite of negative 5x? Perfect, yeah. So get it over to the other side, you have to do the opposite, okay? Now, Cameron, am I done?
No, because you gotta get
5x plus y is equal to 10. Am I done? First of all, is a positive? Yeah. Okay, is there any fractions? No. So we're done. That's number 15. Now, if we're going into slope-intercept form, remember, if you need to, write it on the side, y equals mx plus b. The main thing you need to memorize for slope-intercept form is you have to solve for y. Okay? So, really the only step that you need to do is get y by itself. It's being minused by 1/2. So you need to add both sides by 1/2. Okay? So that's going to leave me with a y equals half plus a half gives me what? A whole. So there's your answer.
good math, bro. Wait, that's the answer to 26.
All you're doing for slope-intercept form is solving for y. Okay? Let's do one more.
Hey, if you don't know, first you gotta
And show us. And prove you did it.
find them all.
Okay, this is number 25. Now, okay, number 25. Now, first thing you should do is what? Go ahead and distribute this. Okay? 1/2 times x is going to be 1/2 x. 1/2 times 3 is going to give me 3. Okay? Now, remember, we're going into slope-intercept form. Solve for y. Get y by itself. If it's being minus by 2, add both sides by 2. That's it. This is a whole lot easier than going into standard form, as you can tell. Of course, you can tell, if we're looking at like a graph like this, you can tell if these lines are parallel, right? Now, another way you can tell, if you're just looking at an equation of a line. So if our equation of line 1 right here, and this is line 2, okay? So if line 1 was y equals 1/2 plus 2, Okay, this is number one. For number two, the equation of the line is 1/2 x minus 2. That's not the actual equation, but I'm just making these numbers up. Okay, so a way that you can tell if lines are parallel, and in your notes, I want you to write down.
Well, I'm writing this, hold on.
Okay. In your notes, if you're looking at the equation, a way that you can tell if the lines are parallel if they have the same slope.
Alright, now when they have the same slope. If you know how to do slope, you'll know if they have the same slope, then won't you?
If they have the same slope,
Exactly.
that means your lines are parallel. So, like if we're looking at our two lines right here, number 1 and number 2, they have the same slope. Because the slope of line 1 is 1/2. The slope of line 2 is 1/2. So, they have the same slope. So these lines would be parallel. Okay? Parallel lines have the same slope. That is the, put a star right there, and we're talking about parallel lines, okay? Parallel lines have the same slope. So let's say if we had another equation, like if our first equation was
Yeah.
y equals negative 3x plus 1. And our second equation was y equals negative 3x plus 30. Would these lines be parallel?
Hold on one second, I'll take that.
Yes.
No, they will, yes, they will.
Yes, they would, because the only thing you need to look at, determine if it's parallel, is the slope. Yeah, it's hush. So in this case, yeah, both of these lines have a negative 3 slope. So they are parallel. Now, let's say if we have
Do we have to write these down?
yes.
No, it would not.
So for our third one, we have a y equals 2x plus 3, and we have a y equals 3x minus 10.
No, not be parallel.
I thought parallel lines didn't matter what the slope was, or as long as the slope is the same, it doesn't matter what the line.
Yeah, it does not matter what the y-intercept is. The only thing you need to look at is the slope. So for our third one,
And what would
guys, shh, it would not be parallel. No, it wouldn't be perpendicular. So that's a big X. So our first one and our second one were checks. They were parallel. Okay? Our third one is not, because the slope is not the same. That's literally all you have to look at. Right? Because that second equation is in slope-intercept form, it is very easy to tell what the slope is. Okay? So for this one, we know for a fact my m is equal to 2 over 3. Guys, don't start packing up yet.
I wouldn't understand it.
Okay?
Fixing it, getting it.
Shh, Harley. Now, for our first equation, is that in slope-intercept form? No. So we don't know.
Hey, that's-
We can't look at that and say, okay, the slope is 2 or the slope is 3. We can't do that. What form is it in right now?
Point slope.
Oh, that's standard form. X and Y on the same side, that gives you standard form.
I suppose they use standard.
Guys, hush. So, Dakota. So, you need to get that in y equals mx plus b form. You need to figure out what the slope is. So, I need a minus 2x from both sides. Okay? Now, can I tell what the slope is? What is the slope? Yeah, your slope is negative 2. Now, looking at both these slopes, you can tell if they're parallel or not. They're not the same, so they're not going to be parallel. Okay, so they're not parallel. They are not parallel. Okay?